to the hallowed halls of Hasbro. Last time we met, I was in a super slick, fancy studio. I had big LED screens behind me, I had hair and makeup, I had a teleprompter, I even had a green room. This time, nah, back to basics. It's just you, me, cameraman James, hello James, and my trusty clipboard with all the notes on, because I am going to forget what I'm meant to be telling you. But if you're cool with that, I'm cool with that. All right, so what we thought we'd invite you to where the magic happens, to the Hasbro HQ, 1027 Newport Avenue, Pawtucket, Rhode Island, small state of Rhode Island. Welcome, and tell me, what is the date today? October 27th, 1027. 1027, huh? I know. Genius. I know you're impressed. I can see it. So James and I will be spending the next hour and a half or so taking you around the 1027 building here at Hasbro HQ. And we're going to show you all the nooks and crannies. We're going to meet up with the brand teams that are going to give you sneak peeks, product reveals. Yes, product reveals. I got your feedback last time. Last time it was like, lesser Steve, give us some more product reveals. So that's what you're going to get. Some exclusive content as well and some special guest stars just for you, our Hasbro Pulse Premium Members. Get that right. I never get it right. Anyway, let's make a start. So, before we get into the building, I've got to say the Avengers may have a Hulk, but in the 1027 building, we have something more dangerous, more vicious, more protective than a Hulk. We've got a Keith. Hey Keith, how you doing, my friend? How's family? All right?
Steve.
Great. Okay, good talk. He scares me. Good talking to you. All right, anyway, let's leave Keith alone before he unleashes himself on me, and let's go into the building. Keith, we're good to go?
Have your pass on you?
Huh?
Do you have your pass on you?
Do I need it? I obviously do need it. Hang on. I think I have it. I do. I have it. Thanks, Keith. All right, let's go. Yep, it's this way. That's good. All right. Come on through. Mind the door. Put my pass away. I think I'll need it. Don't want to disappoint Keith. All right. So here we are in Memory Lane. This is a little area of 1027 building that we keep, I don't know, just some of our little kind of artifacts and toys from yesteryear. I mean, what about, just an original Monopoly board cut from the very tablecloth of Charles Darrow in like 1935. There's only a few of them left in the world probably. Something like that, So where should we start? Let's start with a brief history tour of Hasbro, shall we? Hasbro, founded in 1923 by the Hassenfeld brothers. Hasbro. Got it? Good. They were Herman, Hillel, and Henry Hassenfeld. Clearly they like their H's. And they started off making pencil boxes and school stationery in this very building nearly 100 years ago. From there, they went on, in World War II, they started to expand into small plastic novelty toys. And in the 50s, they introduced to the world the famous Mr. Potato Head. Fun fact, Mr. Potato Head was the world's first TV advertised toy ever in 1952. From there, Hasbro introduced the world to things like Monopoly over there, G.I. Joe, My Little Pony, brought over Transformers, a multitude of products that we all love and enjoy as kids, and many of us still do today. From there, we also brought into the Hasbro family different companies. We brought in Parker Brothers, Milton Bradley, Play School, Kenner, of course, and more recently, Watsy. And that brings us to today, where Hasbro is more than just a toy company. It's a fully evolved family brand story company, entertainment company, et cetera, et cetera. But what still remains is our deep emotional connection and our roots very firmly planted into this building. We've been here nearly 100 years. And I will say that at the moment, unfortunately, there is a bit of a somber mood within these four walls of the 1027. Obviously, our dear friend and leader, Brian Goldner, recently passed away. And I was thinking about Brian and doing this with you, and he would really like it. He would dig this. Brian loved Hasbro. He loved the heritage. He loved what the brand stood for. And he loved this building. But most of all, he loved the people inside this building. We are a family, and Brian was and still is really much the head of the household, the family. And quite literally, there are families in this building. You know, there are lots of spouses, lots of siblings, there are lots of parents and children that work together in Hasbro. So the idea of generations is really, really important to Hasbro, to this building, and I believe to the toy industry as a whole. There is nothing more rewarding than seeing people of different ages coming together to enjoy either A, our products, or B, their own fandom. When I'm at con and I see like a whole family coming dressed up in Star Wars or Marvel, like that is the best thing I can ever wish to see in my career. So it's very, very important. And I believe that us, as collectors and as fans, owe it to ourselves and everyone to welcome and encourage the next generation of fans, the younger generation of fans. Because I think that way we need to ensure that the stories and brands that we love today are still around tomorrow when we're all old and grey, or greyer maybe, all right? On that, let me tell you a story. So last time we met, we were at the Hasbro Pulse party back in April, I believe, and I finished it, and I was on a buzz. I was high, I was hyped up, I was super, super happy. I went home, there were lots of messages from other community members, and they were like, hey, Steve, great job, fantastic, you did brilliantly. And I was like, yeah, that's great. But then I noticed a couple of other conversations and posts that like, who's this guy? Who's this cheesy, corny dad joke person? Get him off, he's awful. And I was like, I was disheartened. I was a bit upset, I'll be honest with you. I went to bed grumpy, and you should never go to bed grumpy. In the morning, I woke up, and I did what I tell my kids to do. I said, all right, take a step back, Steve, look at it from a different angle, and try and understand the reasons why. So I thought about it, and then I realized something. I realized that these people that were calling me a corny old dad were like a different generation, a younger generation. And they weren't like me. They were someone else. But they loved the hobby as much as I did. So I actually realized that, you know, our fandom is in a really good place. Our fandom is solid. It is moving forward. It is set up for the future. And that it's not just full of middle-aged dads like me. It's full of a rich, diverse of people like you and me. And together, I believe that we can make our fandom really last for generations. So I went from being disheartened to relieved, because our fandom's lasting, to actually really encouraged. So I thank you. I thank you for being different. And for those of you that called me out, I am a dad. I'm a dad of 3. I am cheesy. I'm corny. And I'm really sarcastic. You ask my wife. But that diversity makes us what we are. And I'm really grateful for you. And I know that we'll teach each other and learn from each other to ensure that our fandom is going to last for generations to come. Now, I'll step off my soapbox. That was a little bit of a PSA, wasn't it? Knowing truly is half the battle, which amazingly takes us, if I've worked out my steps correctly, to G.I. Joe. Look at that. That's a cheesy dad segue, in case you didn't know. All right, so G.I. Joe, one of our top brands. I'm sure a lot of you have seen the HasLab Sky Striker reveal at PulseCon a few days ago. So why don't we stop talking, Steve, and why don't we hand over to our first brand team, which is the Joe team. So let's go and see what else they got to share with you.
Thanks, Steve. I am so excited to be one of the first people to welcome you to the Hasbro Pulse 1027 Premium Event. I am super stoked to get to share this evening with you. If for any reason you missed what was an amazing G.I. Joe panel on Saturday at PulseCon, my name is Emily and I work on the G.I. Joe marketing team, and this is my desk at 1027. So we like to keep samples on hand for photo shoots, for any sample needs that we may have. And instead of keeping them in storage, I keep them on my desk because this is a pretty amazing view to get to look at while I work. No complaints here. I know that they're not in numeric order yet. Please forgive me. We're just getting readjusted in the office. I promise that I will get them in order. It's going to bug me too. I promise. But that's not really why I'm here today. What I'm here to do is actually introduce a brand new classified series figure. So without further ado, please help me to welcome the Cobra Officer to the classified series family. I think that this guy looks fantastic. So he comes with all new gear and a new head. So I'll kind of zoom in for you. There we go. Just like he's taking a little selfie. So his new head has this beautiful new mask. So all sculpted plastic still, but it comes with it looks more like fabric. There's more ripples in it. It looks like it has a lot more movement in it. And I think it's an amazing way to kind of distinguish this as a sculpt. Corey killed it. And we know that traditionally Cobra officers are redecos of Cobra troopers with different harnesses, but the team really wanted to make it a little more unique than what is traditionally done. So yes, he has the amazing new harness design. He also has cute little pockets on his tush, which I really like. But he comes all decked out for battle. So check this out. He comes with kind of a more traditional assault rifle, a more sci-fi submachine gun that has just been done for this figure, plus a pistol and a knife. And, as Chris was saying in our PulseCon panel on Saturday, we really feel like, especially with the kind of Cobra troop builders, that we like to have a place for everything. If you're going into battle, you want to be able to pull out any of your arsenal at any time. So this guy has a place for everything. He has this great kind of knife holster on his knee. Or on his leg. Sorry, that's not a knee. I know where knees live on people. He has this kind of pistol spot on his belt. He has space for his rifle on his back. And then if you kind of twist the rifle, you can tell space for magazines as well. So the magazines are removable from both of the larger rifles. I think that this guy is fantastic, and I cannot wait for you guys to get him into your collection later this spring. But you know that with all of the new classified figures, there's always new artist series artwork. And as we mentioned earlier, also at PulseCon, we're going to talk about it. It just happened. It was amazing. There is new artist series artwork to accompany this figure. Now, if you're in love with any of the artwork like I am, you can totally get these made as posters now from Trends International. So don't forget to go buy your favorite artwork, hang it up, I don't know, maybe at your G.I. Joe themed workspace. I don't want to dictate what you do with your art, but something for you to consider. And to add to that list, we have this fantastic new art by artist Francois Coutu. Check this out. I am in love with this color scheme. I think that this box looks beautiful. I love the kind of aerial approach to this, which, ties in really nicely with my friend, the Sky Striker over here. Hello, Sky Striker. If by any chance you haven't gotten around to backing our HasLab yet, may I recommend that you do so. The Sky Striker is pretty amazing, and we cannot wait to get these into the hands of you guys, the fans. You being here is why we do what we do. So we always are pushing ourselves to make the best possible toys for you guys. And speaking of best possible, our new friend, Cobra Officer, pre-orders are going to open up after the stream ends tonight for you guys, Pulse Premium members. For non-premium members and at other retailers, pre-orders are going to open up at 8 p.m. Eastern time tonight. But don't go away, even though I'm done talking. Coming up next, we have an amazing interview with artist Tom Whalen, who's going to be talking about the artwork that he did for our PulseCon exclusive Zartan package. They're going to be revealing a new classified figure. Don't go away. And talking about Tom's work on Power Rangers. So he is going to be chatting with one of our graphic designers, Cecil. And I can't wait to see what they chat about. So stick around, and there's plenty more show to come up. It was nice chatting with you guys.
Yo, Joe fans! I hope everybody is excited to sit down with us and talk with illustrator Tom Whalen. You know his art from fan favorite movie posters to product packaging and everything in between. Tom, thank you for sitting with us.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be part of this event.
Before we dive in here, I want to make sure I speak to your work for Hasbro as a whole, because it's pretty colossal, the amount of work you've done and the projects you've done with Hasbro. Obviously G.I. Joe, which we're going to talk about today in depth, but also, we'd be remiss to not touch on your work on Power Rangers and the breadth of work you've done for that. Is there a particular Power Rangers project that you worked on that really stood out to you as a special one?
That Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers crossover was the pinnacle of fun for this for that whole project.
We have some G.I. Joe stuff to talk about. And particularly the Master of Disguise Deluxe Zartan that fans got a close look at earlier this week. So I know you were lucky enough to get one ahead of time, and you got one there with you. We went through a lot of different options, and exploration to tell this story on this package with such a unique packaging execution.
I remember when you had contacted me asking if I wanted to work on a G.I. Joe product, and it was immediate yes. And then when you told me it was Zartan, I was like double yes. And then you laid out all the parameters of the job, and that's where the challenge began, because it had to tell a story and hit a lot of marks. It had to fit into the existing classified look to some degree. And it had to, the wheel was the real wild card to get that wheel to work and kind of show off just the different iterations of the masks that are in this package. So for me, it was great to kind of chat about this for quite a while before we even jumped into sketches. I remember we had pretty lengthy conversation about what we really wanted it to accomplish. And then I jumped into some digital sketches, which is probably the quickest way for me to work. Some black and white digitals to kind of give you some examples and some looks that we were going to explore. And then it evolved from there. But the process of this was it's rewarding to see where it all wound up.
That's a perfect segue into this next reveal that I know G.I. Joe fans have been waiting a very long time for, but not as long as you and I have been waiting for it. Tom, if you could please help me in revealing the Alley Vipers.
Yes, finally the Alley Viper. As a collector of this line, I know this has been on the back of that card since day one, and I know people have been pointing to when is the Alley Viper coming out, and I've known for quite a while, obviously since I worked on the poster and package design, that it was coming. And finally it's here, and I'm super proud. I kind of feel honored to be the one that worked on this mysterious Alley Viper. And I'm just so pleased to be able to reveal it and finally get to see what it looks like in the wild.
Yeah, I think you and I both, and I know the fans have been waiting a very long time for this. This to me is a very special character to G.I. Joe. I think it's one of the most iconic looking character designs of any IP, and it really exemplifies like some of the wackiness and craziness that I love about Joe.
I think the Alley Viper is such a great intersection of what makes G.I. Joe G.I. Joe. It's a combination of military and sci-fi, and this is that, plus like throw a splash of crazy color on it, and this has everything that makes G.I. Joe to me.
Agreed. And I think you've done an amazing job at capturing all that with your poster. I am absolutely obsessed with this poster. I think it hits all the beats that ideally a piece of character art for G.I. Joe would. And it has that little flavor of that Cobra, world propaganda in it. We get some of the corner pieces of some of our favorite Cobra characters in there, and this is going to be one that I know people are going to want.
I think the poster is a Venn diagram of so many of my interests and passions, with the propaganda artwork and the graphic design and the illustration, and one of my favorite brands of all time. So that it's really an honor, and I'm so happy it's finally out there.
I know you and I could talk about artwork and G.I. Joe all day, but I want to let the fans know that they can get some of these posters from our friends at Trends International. So go check that out. And before we wrap up, I do want to give you a chance to let people know where they can find you.
Yeah, so my portfolio site and shop live at strongstuff.net. My Instagram handle is strongstuff, and Twitter, I am strongstufftom. That should be it.
Definitely go follow. Worthwhile follow. I can speak firsthand. Tom, I'm so glad we got a chance to do this. Fans, I hope you enjoyed it, and more to come.
Here we are on Main Street, by far our longest, widest corridor. I don't know what we call it. Let's call it a street, because that's what it basically is. This is Main Street. This splits the 1027 building clean in half. And imagine 70, 60 years ago, this is where they made the toys. This was the production line. It's incredible. So it's no surprise that if toys were made here, this is where you'll find, nice sweeping action there, James, you'll find our staff toy store. Now remember, we love toys. We're fans just like you. We're just lucky enough to make the toys that we love. And it's so inspiring for us to be involved with the brands and the stories that have been with us since since childhood, to be honest with you. And it's always great when we can introduce new brands into the Hasbro fold. And there are a couple of brands that I'd love to tell you about, but I'm not allowed because Keith would get me, and we don't want that, do we? So, one of the latest family members that have been added is Power Rangers, of course. Now, I've noticed there have been lots of questions from Power Rangers fans for Dino Fury executive producer and director Simon Bennett that they're desperate to know about. So we have a little surprise, a little treat for you. Simon's taken some time out of his busy schedule and he's going to answer some of those questions right now. So Simon, over to you.
Thanks, Steve, and hi, Ranger Nation and Pulse fans. I'm so happy to be here to be able to answer some of the questions that must have been going through people's minds. I know that my social media got very busy lately when I started answering questions online, and I had to kind of back away a bit because I wasn't able to do my day job. But this gives me an opportunity to actually be able to chat to you and deal with some of the questions that you are going to be sending in. So great to be here. Very happy to be here, and let's see if I can answer some of these without giving away any spoilers. Right. Okay. First question here is, if you had a Dino Fury boost key, what power would it unlock? That's a great question. I love those boost keys. Very convenient. I think my Dino Fury boost key would unlock the power of time travel, because I would love to go back to Sheffield, England when I was a child, and I grew up there before my family moved to New Zealand when I was about 8 or 9 years old. And I'd love to hang out around my schoolyard and local parks and old haunts and just remember what it was like and being there in the early 70s. So that's one thing I'd like to do. Another thing I'd like to do is go back to the time of the dinosaurs and see what they were really like, because of course we only have the fossilized bones, we don't know. And I'm kind of convinced, because birds are the descendants of dinosaurs, that dinosaurs actually weren't as dull and scaly and lizard-like as they're often depicted. I think dinosaurs were feathered with brightly colored plumage, and T-Rex was more like a gigantic parrot stomping through the primeval forest, roaring with sharp teeth. And I would love to go back there just to see that. And that was one of the ideas behind the feathered kind of headdress that Solon has, is we were creating an original dinosaur character. So we wanted to at least reflect what paleontologists are discovering about dinosaurs now, that they probably were feathered beasts. So that's a little sneak tidbit about Solon. Will we see more from the Morphin Masters and their story in Dino Fury Season 2? Well, you'll just have to keep watching to find out, is all I can say. It was great to introduce the Morphin Masters, because what we wanted to do was tie together all the bits of lore that were kind of inconsistent between various seasons. And the idea behind the Morphin Masters was that there were intelligent entities behind the scenes guarding the grid and helping the Ranger teams with morphers and link devices, but never actually getting involved in a hands-on kind of way. And it explains a lot, and it actually does unify things a lot. And they were mentioned back in MMPR in passing, and they have been a feature in the comics, but it was great to actually be able to do more with them and provide a bit more depth. As far as what comes next, as I said, you'll just have to keep watching. What makes filming in New Zealand so great for Power Rangers Dino Fury? We're very lucky in Auckland, particularly in that we have a whole variety of different types of locations, less than an hour's drive from where the studio is. We've got forest, we've got beach, we've got quarries, we've got urban environments. So in a lot of other countries, you might have one or two of those looks, but to access others of them, you have to travel a long way, which is expensive and difficult and challenging, and often you can't. But we can access a whole range of different locations in Auckland, which is fantastic. And when we shoot over summer, the weather is very stable, which is another good thing. Another reason why it's great to shoot in Auckland is because we have a very talented crew here who are used to making Power Rangers, And they have a lot of expertise working on a wide range of international shows, all of which also shoot out of Auckland. What's been my favorite episode of Dino Fury so far, and why? Well, I've got two in season 28. The first one is episode 13, which is the Slither kidnap and romance story. But the main reason I love that episode, apart from the fact that I think the story is really well told, is because it is the first episode where it's made clear that Izzy, Green Ranger, is a member of the LGBTQI plus community. And it's the first time in the TV show of Power Rangers that we've had a Ranger character who is. And I think it's really important that Power Rangers is inclusive and it reflects the world as it actually is out there. So it was a big step forward for the show, and one I'm really proud of being associated with. And it was great that Hasbro and E1 and Nickelodeon and everyone were so supportive of us telling that story. It's important and it's timely. My other favorite episode in season 28 is episode 21, which is the finale episode. And the reason I like that one is just because it is so exciting for me. That battle in the woods when the Dino Henge statues have been destroyed, and Santora in the tube, and will Void Knight be able to resuscitate her in time, and the unmorphed fight. I just think it's Power Rangers at its very best, and was really well directed and performed. What teasers can you give us for Power Rangers Dino Fury Season 2? Not a lot, because I don't want to spoil your enjoyment of the show. And if you know what's going to happen, it won't be nearly as much fun. And we want everyone to watch every episode. That's really important. But what I can say is that the story continues where we left off with the characters at the end of season 28. It's direct continuation. Zato and Ion will get to find out maybe a bit more about what became of their people and what became of their planet Rafcon, because that quest was clearly set up in the first half in season 28. And I guess one of the big questions is what happened to Santora and Void Knight, because last we saw a Void Knight who was engulfed in a huge explosion. In fact, we have a little sneak preview, especially for you, which might give you a little insight into what happened to those two. Here we go.
Out of my way! I'm warning you now. If this isn't enough, you better run. Full power! It's happening! I knew I could do it! Finally! Awaken my love. It's time.
There you go. You are the privileged few people who have been given an insight into the next season. Just don't tell anyone, otherwise everyone will know. Just keep it to yourselves. If I could choose the theme for the next Power Rangers team, what would it be? I can't really say what it will be, because that obviously, if there was going to be another series, would be a complete secret. But what I can say is that a lot of thought and discussion goes into deciding whatever theme is going to be an incoming Power Rangers theme, and involves a lot of people. What I can say really is themes that I have enjoyed. I really like the dinosaur themes, like Dino Fury and Dino Charge. I enjoyed as a season, but I think that next season should steer away from dinosaurs, simply so we don't end up repeating ourselves too much. I like in space Rangers episodes. I grew up watching some of the great science fiction films and TV series, a lot of which took place in space. And for me, I get a real thrill out of making shows that reflect the things that I loved when I was a kid. I sometimes have to pinch myself. I go, I can't believe I'm so lucky to be in this job making stuff like this, because I just love it still, and I can continue to be a big kid. I really like the whole post-apocalyptic world as a theme for Power Rangers. When I was a kid, the whole Cold War was still very much looming over our head, and prospects of annihilation were a lot closer than they are now. And RPM is one of my favorite Power Rangers seasons. I just love that world. So that's where my taste lies, but obviously not giving away anything about what the future holds in store. The cast looks amazing, fun people. What would have been some of your favorite moments with them? Any funny stories? Well, when I'm on set, everyone tends to behave themselves, so I don't witness the funny things firsthand, but I would strongly recommend that you all follow the cast on social media, because they're very good about posting behind the scenes clips and little insights into their experience on Power Rangers. And you can see what a fantastically fun and smart and dedicated bunch of people they are. They were honestly a great team of actors that we had to work with. Very professional, very committed. They loved the show. And at the same time, they were very serious about doing the best work that they possibly could, and worked incredibly hard. And you couldn't ask for anything more from a team of actors. They were stuck here over the Christmas break. Normally a cast would go home for Christmas, but for COVID reasons, that couldn't happen. So we shared Christmas meals and Thanksgiving and met families. And really it was just like one big family. So I was very happy to work with them and felt very privileged. Okay, I think that's it for the questions. So thanks very much for listening to me ramble on, and I'm so excited about what we're going to bring you all in the next season. I can't wait to see what you all think of it. So that's it from me, and back to you, Steve.
One of my favorite places in the whole building. That I don't know who put it there or how long it's been there, but it's genius. It really sums up the creative spirit of 1027 building with all its nooks and crannies. Anyway, James, we're getting deeper. Come with me. We're getting deeper into the 1027 building now, and we're getting into the heart, the creative heart of the building. You'll see here we've got the red doors. These doors are spread out along this whole corridor, so why don't you come down with me? And behind those red doors are all the creative teams that make the toys, that bring them to life. Super special, super restrictive, only accessible with a secret key card from Keith. Everyone that visits say, hey, can we take a look behind those red doors? And the answer is always, no, you can't. But I'm gonna try and do something special with you. I'm gonna try and have a little word with Keith later and see what we can do. Anyway, time for some more brand team news, I think. We are here, miraculously, at Transformers. This is the Transformers War Room. This is where everything is all the big decisions are made right here. So we've got Ben inside, I believe, and we're gonna go and check out what he's got to give to us. So why don't we come this way? Quickly, I have to use my special key card. Let's get in. Here we go. Oh, let's do that again. No, sorry. Do I not have access anymore? Hello, hi, it's Steve. Yeah, my key card doesn't work. Ben, are you in there, mate?
Hey, Steve, Ben's in here. It's all good. I got this. We're gonna talk to the premium members and keep you out there.
Huh? James, what's going on?
Hey, Hasbro Pulse Premium fans, thanks for joining us. We just wanted to say thank you for another very successful PulseCon weekend. We hope you really enjoyed what we had going on. I'm coming to you from the War Room. I can't show you what's to the left and right of me, but this is where everything happens on Transformers. We develop the toy lines. We work on some movie stuff in here. But I can show you a little bit behind me. There might be a couple Easter eggs if you want to kind of decipher what's going on there. First, I wanted to take a second and thank everybody that backed the HasLab Victory Saver project. I definitely want to thank Yuki-san at Takara Tomy for all his hard work on this, as well as everybody else over there. Our entire team here, Evan, just everybody that's worked on this, Christina Mario on the packaging, stuff like that. Speaking of the packaging, we definitely check the forums to see what you guys are talking about. So we want to put a little bit of ease in your minds about what's going on with packaging. While I can't talk about the artwork and specifically what's going on, we do know people were concerned about what they got for Unicron, just a big giant brown box with a black print on it. So we will have some nice artwork. There again might be something going on here to give you a little insight to who's going to be involved with that. But I want to let you know that we're putting our item in this, which is what we call our SIOP packaging, which is just an acronym for Ships in Outer Container. So your nice box will be going in this brown cardboard box. So it'll be nice and protected. They can put a label on this, doesn't ruin your project. We will definitely be back with more info and a little bit of look at that. Be sure to keep an eye on Hasbro Pulse Unboxed for those updates throughout the entire time of the production cycle, which we officially entered this week. It's really exciting. Next up, as you know, this has been an entire year celebration of the 35th anniversary of Transformers the movie. For those of you that were able to join us for our in-theater showings in September, you were surprised with some stop-motion videos that were aired before the start of the movie. There was a fourth video that did not make it to theaters in time, so for our premium members, we have a first time ever seen right here, right now, on this premium event. Have a look.
They thought they could judge. We the many, we the quintesson, did they?
And that stupid judge exiled us to space!
Well, we are defenseless.
But they forgot.
We created the Transformers long ago. Now we have created the mightiest of all. Awaken, Unicron!
I am the Alpha and the Omega. I am the bringer of chaos, death, and destruction. I bring balance to the universe. I am Unicron.
Prepare to serve us!
Who are you?
We are your
creators!
Curious, I only detect one of you inside me.
We are quintessons.
5 in 1.
You are to serve us.
I am Unicron. I serve nobody. Get out of me.
You're gonna be sorry for this.
I am hungry. I must now find a planet to devour.
I don't know about you guys, but that was pretty impressive. I definitely cannot convert Unicron that fast. We want to take a second to thank everybody involved with making all of those stop motions, specifically Flint Dilley and Joe Troutman. They arranged it all. Flint worked on the writing. He was actually part of the original 86 writing staff, and then Joe got everybody together to do it. A very special thanks to everybody who worked on that as well. Voice talent with Greg Berger, John Machida, Stan Bush, Francis Osley, Travis Ryan, and then Vince DiCola for helping out with the music and bringing this entire thing to life. Next, let's do a little recap on Legacy. We want to say thanks to Rachel and Mark for taking us through Wave 1 this past week. We're really excited that we're bringing all these multiverses together over the next couple of years in product. We definitely wanted to figure out how to bring some of our different entertainment properties into the Generations line look. There's definitely more to come in 2022. Be sure to keep your eye on all of the Pulse social channels for more Fan First Fridays and other upcoming events. And then speaking of Legacy, you know, we're here for some exclusives and whatnot, obviously, right? So how about a brand new item that you didn't get to see on Friday? Our first Gen Selects item from 2022 will be Lift Ticket. I have this new packaging here. I'm just going to show you guys. We're trying to make Gen Selects a little bit better, not just that brown cardboard box that you were getting before. So as you can see here, we got some line art for the character, Lift Ticket here on the front, the Legacy logo here on the top of the box, just to make it a little more unique, what we got going on. Obviously, we couldn't show you this before we revealed the Legacy line, but a little bit of tidbit for you guys. The black Zarek that you purchased a few months ago will actually be the first legacy item coming in this look, the same as Lift Ticket. So now that's revealed. You guys get to see that. It's pretty cool. So as you can see here on screen, we have Lift Ticket in his bot mode. Bright red going on here. He's got a bunch of stuff on him. He's got his blaster, pretty neat. And then when you check him out in his converted vehicle mode, you can see he's kind of a square body truck, off-road tiring, kind of big, beefy. It's got decals on the side, says Wrecker, make of that what you will. Hopefully this kind of gives everybody a little insight to what might be going on with our 2022 Gen Selects items. Pre-orders for our Gen Selects Deluxe Lift Ticket will be open to all Hasbro Pulse Premium members in limited quantities at the end of this live stream, and for all fans beginning at 8 p.m. Eastern tonight. Again, I just want to say thanks to everybody that helped make PulseCon a great success. You, the fans, for tuning in, allowing us to donate a bunch of toys to Toys for Tots. Thanks to Rachel and Mark again for taking us through Legacy. Hope everybody really likes what we're doing there with Generations. Thanks to everybody who worked on these stop motions, made the 35th anniversary celebration of the movie a big success. And now, back to some other great content from all the other brands.
So, if I can't get you into the Transformers War Room, I'm going to bring you somewhere extra special for the next leg of our 1027 tour. I'm going to bring you somewhere where no one ever really goes. We are in the archive basement. James is with me to keep me company because it is as creepy as anything down here and it's a bit spooky. But down here you'll see, James, follow me closely. You'll see hundreds of grey plan chests just stretching for ages. And it's like, so what, Steve? Well, inside these plan chests are thousands of original drawings from the 80s. All those toys that we played with when we were little, if you're as old as me, they're all here. They're all original design drawings. So let's take a look at what one of these drawers has. Let me get my light ready. We're going to go to AA1. So inside AA1, we have, oh my goodness, there's a G.I. Joe character sheet, original, still drawn in pencil. That's amazing. It has has specifications on it. So we've got like Polypro. So that's the material that was used. We have green PMS 371. That's the color spec. When was this drawn? Drawn in 82. This was hand drawn in 1982. What was that? 39 years ago. Still here. That's amazing. What else we got? Oh, it's still stuck together. Ugh. What we got? We got Command. Hang on, it says Commando, but it's Snake Eyes. This is the original Snake Eyes drawing. That's amazing. Again, in pencil, 1982, Commando in blister, but that's Snake Eyes sitting right here. Absolutely wonderful. What else we got? Oh my goodness, they still had to draw the blister cards in those days by hand. 9-inch by 6-inch to scale. That's amazing. Anyway, I could spend hours down here if it wasn't so terrifying. So I think what we'll do, James, because I'm kind of getting a little bit creeped out, we'll hand over to the Ghostbuster team now, who I think actually might have something to tell us about and show us that we could use right about now. But right about now, I'm feeling a little bit like we need to leave. Come on.
Are you troubled by expensive credit card charges for movie-inspired props?
Do you experience feelings of dread in your wallet or savings account?
Have you or anyone in your family experienced fear of missing out when it comes to adult collectibles?
If the answer is yes, then don't wait another minute. Pick up the phone and get in touch with the professionals. HasLab.
Hello? Just kidding. HasLab doesn't have a landline, and our courteous and efficient staff is not on call 24 hours a day to serve all of your supernatural, elimination, adult collectible needs. HasLab.
HasLab, we're ready to equip you. Hi everyone, my name is Bill and I'm a designer here on Ghostbusters at Hasbro. And with me today I have Eric Reich, who's co-producer, and Jason Reitman, who's a co-writer and director of the new Ghostbusters Afterlife film.
Hey Bill.
How you doing?
How's it going? I'm doing good.
Jason, our first question is for you. What was it like seeing the Proton pack on set for the first time?
An absolute thrill. And you have to remember that when I was 6 years old, I was actually on the set of the original film in 1984. So to see our Proton pack, 35 years later on set, it's the moment you realize, wait a second, I think we're making a Ghostbusters movie.
Did your dad, Ivan, let you try it on when you were 6 years old?
I think it would have been too heavy. I think I would have fallen over, but he did bring home a neutrino wand, and I made the awful mistake of just like playing with it like a toy as a kid, so I just thrashed this piece of movie history.
Were you allowed to keep it after that?
I still have it. I may have to bring it out here to Pawtucket so you guys can maybe like bring it back to life.
I'll fix it for you.
I appreciate that. Thank
we
you.
have some great
Can you
guys
put
who-
new features in it? Can you make it like buzz and like give noises and lights and stuff?
Absolutely. Do that. We can do anything here at Hasbro. All right, Eric, when did you first see the Proton pack?
During pre-production, we actually brought in a fan to look at one of the original Proton packs, sort of to get inspiration for this new one. And I remember seeing the actual prop, I believe at the prop warehouse when we first started looking at the packs, the shells of the pack. And that day was really special because Violet Ramis was there, and she actually got to try on Egon's original
her father's pack.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So that was the first time I saw it.
So it's been updated. What was the inspiration for updating the Proton pack?
We wanted to show years of ghost busting on that pack. So it's almost more just the wear and tear. It's the scratches, it's the nicks. We replaced the handle on it, and we wanted to be able to see inside it for the first time.
Speaking of inside, we get to see inside the cyclotron for the first time. What was the inspiration for that design?
That was one of those thrilling moments where we have, these film designers who are working with a piece of iconography that kind of anyone knows who's ever watched a Ghostbusters movie. And it was really up to them, and they obviously they researched the science. I don't think they visited CERN or anything, but they really tried to think about, okay, how would have Egon built this thing? And what could it possibly look inside? And that's one of those moments as collective filmmakers that you get to have a lot of fun.
That's great. I hear there's a funny backstory on some of the switches involved in the actual prop itself. Is there anything you can share?
I'll say this. There's a moment, if you're a Ghostbusters fan, that you definitely know, in which the Ghostbusters arrive at their first call at a hotel in New York City. They're in the elevator, and Dan reaches over to flip on the switch on Egon's pack. And you hear the thing boom up, and they obviously, they take a step back. Yeah. And we always thought, where's that switch? What does that switch look like? And it became a goal of ours to actually show the switch for the first time. So it was the biggest change to the pack is we actually located and created the switch.
I remember actually looking at the film, and we were looking at the pack and saying, is it under here? Is it over here?
Exactly.
And we figured out the exact spot for it. So,
which, it's a lot of responsibility. When you take a piece of iconography from a famous movie, it's like talking about a lightsaber or the DeLorean, Everyone knows exactly what it looks like. And if you're going to add something, it better be right.
Absolutely. Do you have any other funny stories about the Proton pack, maybe on set at all?
I remember my friend Anthony Bresnikan, who's a journalist, came to set one day, and Bill Murray was there. And Bill was telling Anthony, all right, you want to know what it's like to be a Ghostbuster? Why don't you wear this for an hour without taking a break? Put him on a stopwatch. And Anthony
he actually did it.
Oh yeah, he did it. But by the end of the hour, his back was in pain.
Ouch.
Yeah, and he was saying even the original one was heavier than what the kids got. So he was giving Ivan a hard time for that one.
All right. So we know for the neutrino wand, there was a light built in the prop for filming purposes. Are there any notable things that were added to the Proton pack for the same purpose of filming?
It's a great question. It's interesting. You know, my cinematographer, Eric Steelberg, and I were watching the original. We watched it, I don't know, a billion times. The only person who's watched the movie more, I think, is Eric. And we were looking at the wand, and Eric noticed this little light on the top that clearly was not there as part of the prop except to light the actors' faces. And you can start to notice it when you watch the original. When they're holding the wand, there's a little light, and it's there just to give them a little uplight while they're shooting. So we wanted to make sure we included that.
Oh, that's great. All right, I got some rapid fire questions.
Okay.
All right. Eric, we got a question for you. How did you get involved with Ghostbusters?
So I've always been a fan of Ghostbusters my entire life, and I can remember playing with the Kenner toys when I was younger. And in 2015, I was working with Ivan Reitman, and this opportunity came up with Ghost Corps, and I was super excited to take on that responsibility and join in with Ivan to live out my childhood dreams of becoming a Ghostbuster. And my nephew and niece, they call me a Ghostbuster. They think I work for the Ghostbusters, which is the best part.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's great. Jason, first thought when you saw our HasLab project?
Couldn't believe it, honestly. When I walked in here and I took a look at it, I thought the real pack was here. And I'm not just trying to be nice. It's extraordinary. The wear, the tear, the look, it has that.
Oh, stop. No, keep going.
Fair enough. No, it really was. And look, when I was 7 years old in 1984, every kid I knew was a Ghostbuster that Halloween. But no one had anything that looks like that. That is an absolutely extraordinary toy. I can't believe you get to bring it home.
Oh, thanks. No, it's. I mean, there's a huge team involved in the development of it, and we're super excited to be working with everyone, and we're excited for fans to get their hands on it too.
I couldn't believe that you could actually open it up and see inside, see the cyclotron exactly the way we showed it in the movie, and also I just love that there's cables to unhook, screws to twist off. I mean, it's the kind of stuff that makes things feel real.
Yeah, it makes you feel like a Ghostbuster. You're actually in the item. It's great.
Yeah,
we're excited. Eric. Which Ghostbuster do you feel like that you are most like, and why?
That's a tough one. I'd want to say Egon, but I'm not a math and science guy, so I feel like Ray would probably be a good sort of middleman. He's good at tinkering with things and figuring problems out, and
he is the heart and the passion and kind of the keeper of Ghostbusters. Right? And I think that's exactly who you are.
That's great. That's good. That's good. All right, Jason, back to you. First thought that comes to your mind with mini puffs.
Chaos. Demonic toddler chaos. You know, when Gil Kennan and I came up with the idea for the mini puffs, the whole thought was, what if we just had these little ghosts that were like 5-year-olds that wanted to break everything? And at that point, everywhere we went, we just imagined the mini puffs destroying things.
That's fantastic. Yeah, they're adorable little monsters for sure. It's great. All right, Eric, back to you. One word that describes what it is like working with Hasbro. You can be honest.
One word. Amazing.
That's it.
Yeah. It's been a fantastic partnership. I think working with you guys has actually been really fun for me because I've been working on movies for a while, but to actually work on something outside of a movie and see the ideas that, Jason and Gil have brought to life in the movie also come to life on toy shelves has been really fun.
It's been fun for us also. I mean, you've been an amazing partner back. I mean, great brand and great partnership. Last question.
For a more confounding adjective. I think you should have gone with yellow.
Yeah.
Yellow.
German.
HasLab.
HasLab. All right, last question, Jason, for you. Can you describe the feeling you had when you first saw your movie all put together on film for the first time? Finally complete, done.
A couple nights ago, I was in New York City for Comic-Con, where we watched the film for the first time with 3,000 fans, and I was sitting next to my father, which really made the whole thing extraordinary. And something kind of occurred to me. I'd experienced something like that before, and it was like being at Sundance. It's just people who love movies. And to watch Ghostbusters Afterlife with people who love it, who felt like it was Christmas morning, they were opening up gifts one after the other. Honestly, I'm not sure what'll ever top it.
All right, well, I want to take the opportunity to thank you guys both for taking the time out of your schedules to come over to Pawtucket, Rhode Island and meet with us for a little bit and talk a little HasLab.
Absolutely. Look, I mean, who of us did not grow up playing with Hasbro toys? The idea that we've just made a movie that has Hasbro toys is insane. It's, film has become so virtual. Our film exists in the digital space. The idea that we can actually pick up a toy, it makes it all real.
That's what it's all about.
It's been a lot of fun. Thank you for having us.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
Thank you, guys.
So, with a HasLab Proton pack and Jason Reitman in the building, I feel a lot safer, I'll be honest with you. The hairs on the back of my neck have finally flattened off after our spooky time down in the archive basement, but I did need to come somewhere a little bit less creepy. It's 10/27, it ain't Halloween quite yet. So I am now in what I would argue is everyone in 1027's favorite part of the building, and that is the model shop. This is where our toys really start to come to life. This is where we take our designs and we get them 3D printed or cast molded, and an incredible team of artists start applying the deco and start really building up those prototypes that you'll see at conventions and toy fairs, and also shown on Pulse live streams, because we're months and months away from actual final production. So, James, why don't you zoom in and we'll take a look at what we've got behind us here. So here we've got an example of where we take a cast and we always grade primer it, always. We start applying deco as an early photo sample, and then that eventually ends up the final production. So you can see the differences there and all that kind of jazz. If we move over here, you will see, so here we go. Here's a gray version. This is always 3D printed of Yoda there. Anything light blue is our molds, our proto molds. If we come up to here, I shouldn't zoom you across here, James. Sorry to make you move around. This caught my eye. Look at these. I don't know what these are. These are like feet. So like some kind of large bipedal monster. Looks familiar, but I'm not quite sure what that is. But anyway, I did notice that Furby is looking very intently down at this weird thing here, which I'll actually get out and I'll bring it back up here. So this, in fact, is a book mold. And this is actually used in the final production of products and toys and collectibles. And it's how we apply certain paint apps, decos. So it's broken. So what happens is we put the toy in here and we wedge it, clamp it like that, and then the final production artist will get paint and across it, and obviously the paint only goes in the holes. So that thing is used in final production. Pretty weird. Don't often see them around. Anyway, I'm going to take a little bit more of a look down here because it's super cool stuff, and I'm going to leave you in the hands of my good friends from a galaxy far, far away who may have some more prototypes to show you. So, Patrick, punch it!
Hello, 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 Star Wars fans, and also Steve. Thanks for the intro and consider it punched. We're gonna punch it here over the next 10 minutes or so. So glad to see you all, Chris. Great to see you as well. It seems like ages, but it's just been 5 days. It's hard to believe it's only been 5 days since PulseCon last week. It's been an action-packed time. I hope everyone out there enjoyed PulseCon last week. I know that we did. We love those events. We love being able to interact with you all, share some news, share some reveals. And I will say it was also just so wonderful being back in the same room as people you're on panels with. Chris, it's great to be here with you virtually. I don't want to minimize that, but it was great being in the same room with you. And people out there might not know this. Chris and I actually met in person for the first time last week at PulseCon. So that was a great experience. But welcome to the Pulse Premium 1027 event. We're excited to keep the news and fun rolling. My name's Patrick, of course, from our marketing team, and with me is
Chris from design.
Awesome. Cool. So we're going to dive right in. In addition to PulseCon, as I'm sure you all know, we have our Bring Home the Bounty campaign for Star Wars, which is going throughout the fall. And we were excited to see 1 Black Series and 2 Vintage Collection items revealed yesterday in Bring Home the Bounty. So, in multiple areas, the fun just keeps on coming. But we are excited to share 4 more Black Series product reveals today. So we've been sharing some great stuff from The Mandalorian recently. You saw a lot of that last week at PulseCon. All of the reveals today are from different media, from throughout the Star Wars saga, from throughout the full world. We're excited to continue building out, every nook and cranny within the Star Wars universe. So up first, again, diving right in, even though this figure is not from The Mandalorian, it is still from a movie that's in and around the original trilogy. What could it be? What could it be? From Rogue One, it's the Jetta Patrol Stormtrooper. It's great to see fun new variants of the troopers get into the line. I'll do the whole hand thing so you guys can see the figure right there. It's a fantastic new figure. It features all of the great articulation from our new Stormtrooper mold that we released last year. We've been getting good use out of it. It's going to be great to pose this out with our newly updated Rogue One crew. We've been doing that mini beat of Rogue One throughout the year with the re-release of the crew, some other items. So it's going to be great to add this into that lineup. For the packaging, which you can see on the screen, we loved the crouch pose that you can see there. Our team thinks really deeply about kind of the lineup on the sides of those packaging. You can kind of see it on the side there. We want to provide variety in that lineup, and of course highlight the giant blaster, which you can see here in product and see there in pack and also on the side of packaging. So, and of course you can kind of see there the Star Destroyer hovering over Jetta City in the background, very iconic to that scene. So that's our first reveal, the Black Series Jetta Patrol Stormtrooper.
Yeah, that's a great one. But shifting gears, we do have 2 reveals from New Entertainment, but as mentioned, these aren't from The Mandalorian, which means they're from some other stuff. So how about Bad Batch? So we'll dive in here. So this is we love Bad Batch, obviously. It's a great new extension to the world of Clone Wars, and we're excited to keep building out that world in Black Series. So we'll start here with our first figure, and that is Omega, or Omega, depending on where your accent says you're from. So yeah,
you say Omega, I say Omega. I'm from Minnesota. You're from, I don't know, where are you from, Chris?
Probably Australia. I don't know. No, I'm from Ohio, but
there we go. Same thing.
Sometimes it feels like it's a totally different world.
Yep.
But yeah, no, she's a beautiful little figure, and a smaller character. We wanted to include a lot of accessories in the pack. So you see, like, she comes with her bow. She comes with Ruby here, the little lizard. So just some great fun stuff. It's a gas mask, just a great little pack out, a whole bunch of stuff. And we know like the value of how much stuff and how big these figures are is important to people. So just including as much stuff as we can to really build out that world, I think, is important. So for the packaging, great shot on the packaging. You can see that iconic bow of hers. You can see Ruby down at the bottom. So just more beautiful artwork on the Black Series packaging.
Very cool. Awesome. All right. One more reveal for the Black Series from Bad Batch Entertainment. This is a highly anticipated character. We could have done a Complete the Crew program. We love those programs for him, but the entire crew just came out this year. So hopefully you know who it is. I'm going to lift him up carefully because I have him posed out very, very intricately. It is Echo. And I'll just hold him up here so you can get a view of this great new figure. So as mentioned, he is part of the Bad Batch crew. We wanted to make him consistent with the rest of that crew. So kind of a fun fact about the development process. Throughout that process, when reviewing samples, our team made sure that we ordered and had all of the other figures in the Bad Batch crew so that we could really see them side by side and can compare them directly so that they made a consistent lineup. For Echo, as you can see, it's all about the accessories, just like with Omega or Omega. We really wanted to make sure that we nailed those. So you can see specifically that really unique claw accessory that goes over his right arm. That claw actually never made an appearance in the show, but we were happy to get it into this offering. So just a great figure all around. You can see the backpack on the back and the helmet, obviously removable helmet, have to see Echo underneath and built in such a way that he can fit it under his arm there. So in terms of the packaging, he is number 11 in our lineup. We have the packaging right here. It seems like we just got to number 10. It seems like just a few minutes ago that we hit number 10. So, and of course, we love the side panel illustrations. It features all of those accessories there that go into his socket arm. So great figure, great packaging. We're excited to finally, I don't know if we can say finally about a crew that just came out in 1 year, but we are excited to finally get Echo into the line. Echo, I don't know. How do you pronounce that, Chris?
I'm going to go with Echo.
You don't have to answer that.
That one, yeah. That one doesn't have a heavy accent on it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So up last, a character from the original trilogy, and that is Bib Fortuna. Like, look at that guy. He is, wow. He's got all the levels of creepy you hope from Bib Fortuna. It's the long fingernails. I love it. All the detail on his Liku, his tentacles coming down there. They're flexible. So, and all the great sculpting on his outfit, it's just a beautiful figure. If I pry this open, you can see some of the internal stuff, all the detail in there. Just a great figure, and really focusing on how we did the washes and effects on his face, and just really amazing, like the subtleties in the colors of his eyes, the little hanging down turkey waddle things off his neck there. Just some great classic Bib Fortuna stuff. So really fun. And then in the package too, there's a great behind the scenes shot that some people may know about, but he's hanging out. I think it was during production. Well, it was obviously during production of Return of the Jedi, but he's leaning there up on the side inside the sail barge, and he's got a cup in his hand drinking on set. And it's a cup from the sail barge, but we went ahead and we are including in this, they're little tiny guys here, but 3 of the cups from our Cantina playset, so you can kind of recreate that scene as well. So
that's great.
Fun little nods and more accessories for your Star Wars desk. So
that's awesome.
The packaging on him is pretty fun.
I was just gonna say, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to sleep tonight. You know, that bib is so frightening and realistic. So go ahead.
But taking a look at the packaging here, he's number 8 in Return of the Jedi stuff. But you can see here, fun illustration on the side there of him doing his little finger movements and stuff. It's just a great little piece. So nice fun thing. But all of these figures, they're going to be available at most major retailers, including Hasbro Pulse, in the US, Canada, and the UK. They won't be pre-ordered today in order to ensure a better pre-order experience. We'll make sure to announce in advance when those pre-orders will happen. They'll all be on shelf the summer of 2022, though. So.
Awesome. Cool. So fans, Pulse Premium members out there, that is it for today. But stay tuned for more news from Bring Home the Bounty throughout the fall. The party's not over there yet. That's going to keep going over the next couple of months. We will be back soon with something or the other. And may the Force be with you all.
Come here, James. Now, don't tell me that Uncle Stevie never does anything for you. I'm actually going to take you behind the red doors right now. So let's come on in, follow me. I am actually going to have to kind of cover you up because it is top secret in there. So let's come on. Right, James, be careful. We are now going into the Action Brands area. We're walking past some Star Wars stuff. You all right? Mind that. We're coming on in here. And actually, there's a meeting going on. Hello, people. Keep quiet. Don't say anything IP sensitive. What are you working? Oh, look what they're working on. That is cool. It's a shame you can't see it. Sorry, Premium Pulse members. Right, we're coming out of that and we're down the corridor and we're coming into the Marvel area. We're just gonna back in here and bump into that. And we are now in what I call the heart of Marvel. So, as we move into the final segment from Marvel, where else could I be that epitomizes the passion that we have in the 1027 building for these collectibles and stories and brands, other than Dwight's office, of course. Where else? There is nowhere else. Just look at all the stuff he's got. I'm kind of tempted to do a little bit of a domino trick going on, but I know he'd kill me, so I won't do it, Dwight. I promise. Anyway, let me hand you over to my friends in the Marvel team, Dwight, Ryan, and Dan, and special guest star, and they're going to talk to you about toys, collectibles, stories, heroes, legends. That was quite dramatic, wasn't it, James? Very good.
Hello, Marvel Legends fans. Welcome to 1027 Hasbro Pulse Premium Event. We are the Marvel Legends Big Three coming back at you hot off the heels of PulseCon. I am Ryan in marketing, joined as always by Dan, also in marketing, and then the man in the middle for the moment, our fearless leader, Mr. Dwight in design. So guys, thanks for joining us for this really fun premium event. We've got a lot of great stuff on tap. We have a very special guest continuing our Fan Fest musical theme from last year. But first, just a little housekeeping, right? We enjoyed PulseCon immensely with you guys. We had a bunch of great guests there, from Donnie Cates to David Nakayama to Eric and Julia Leewald, another great guest today. But going back to our chat with David Nakayama, you guys saw that he did a one-of-one artist sketch of Vulcan from the X-Men. Vulcan is going to be an upcoming figure in the 2022 line. And, now that we have this physical sketch, beautiful, you see on screen there, Dan and I were talking, well, what should we do with it? Thought we could maybe frame it and hang it in the office and when we can look at it while we work. But no, we thought Hasbro Pulse is where the fans come first. So what we're going to do with this really priceless piece of art here is we're going to give it away to a lucky Pulse Premium fan. So what you're going to do is go to hasbropulse.com where there will be the terms and conditions and you'll read on how to enter and we will pick a Premium Pulse member to win this one-of-a-kind piece, and then you can have bragging rights forever that you have the one-of-one Vulcan PulseCon sketch. So that's a really fun activation that we're doing with the Pulse team. Go check out the website later today. We'll have it up for about 24 hours or so. And with that, I'm going to toss it over to Dan to introduce our next esteemed guest. We're super excited to have him. He's a big Marvel fan, a big toy collector, as you will see. So Dan, take it away.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. Like you said, today we have a special guest for you guys today. I had the pleasure of working with, Ryan and Dwight, who are Marvel legends in their own right. But today, right here, right now, we have a hip hop legend, a Queens, New York legend, one of the illest MCs to ever hold the mic, and a true Marvel Legends collector himself. You've heard of him through Organized Confusion. He has great solo albums such as Eternal Affairs, War, PTSD, and his most recent project is with his band 13. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Mr. Pharaoh Monch. Pharaoh Monch, how you doing, man?
Wow, what an intro. That was amazing. Queens represent, man. This is a pleasure, man. It's awesome for me to be a part of this, and I'm super excited,
Nice. Yeah, thank you again for, joining us. I'm nerding out. Ryan and Dwight probably want me to shut up because I've been talking about you for like months and months. I've been showing them all your, Instagram stories and your Twitter posts and stuff like that. But
dope.
I wanted to ask you a couple of questions just in general, all right? So Pharaoh, everyone who has followed your music career knows that you're a Marvel fan, right? There's so many line references to Marvel characters, right? And one of my favorite albums from you is, Stress, the Extinction Agenda, which, showcase how much you love X-Men, right? So like, what was your initial gateway into Marvel in itself? Like, what's that origin story like?
I mean, for me, even before, the hip hop career, it was, comic books and Marvel. And I think it just lended itself to the colossal way that myself as an MC wanted to approach our vocals and verbose and these arrogant themes, arrogant characters like Thor and like Norrin Rad, Silver Surfer would just talk to people like, you just mere mortals. So just in a battle sense or just a bragging MC sense, I would read these lines in the books and be like, oh, I'm gonna borrow this word or I'm gonna borrow this attitude in my verse, in the songs and, come off more colossal or way more arrogant than ever possible. And, it's a theme in hip hop throughout. I think MCs have always, taken because we, it's brag culture and hip hop culture just, you want to be better than the next person. And a lot of times the characters would have that attitude. So from Wu to Run DMC to DMC, who, mentions that like Hulk was his guy, it's been there since the beginning.
No doubt. I cannot tell you how many lines I always try to like find and just be like, oh man, he talks about Terrax, he talks about Wolverine, in your lines. So I was just so happy whenever I had heard those references. When did you, because, like I said, I've been sending Dwight and Ryan a bunch of like your social posts with Marvel Legends, right? But like, when did you start actually collecting like action figures? Were you like a big collector even when you were a kid? Like, what's that story there?
Well, obviously I collected different, action figures as a kid, but this obsession came during the pandemic and lockdown. I was doing interviews in this same spot right here, and I had a piece back there, and my man Wade was like, I see you got this little 3-inch thing. And he kind of played me. He says he didn't, but then I kind of looked back and was like, all right, I got to get my figures up, up to par, So he put me onto a couple of things, and then I just kind of joined the community. But for me, like posing the figures and taking pictures and remembering where I was and what mind state I was in when I was reading those books, it helped me to center in such a crazy time during lockdown. And it just brought me back to zero, and my imagination would just expand from there. So it was helping me make beats and helping me write, kind of imagining these things in my head as I was posing my characters and taking pictures, and just the excitement of getting them in the mail and all of that. It was very uplifting to get back into it that hard.
Yeah, no doubt. Like one of the funniest things that I saw, or not funniest, but like to me, what was ironic is like I would look at some of your poses and some of your pictures, and I'd be like, man, yo, Pharaoh poses better than I do. Like I'm a marketer, right? So like Dwight always makes fun of me for posing my action figures like really poorly, right? But I saw some of your posts and your pictures, and I was like, man, he's posing them a lot better than I am.
I went to high school. I went to the High School of Art and Design. It was everybody's dream to like, draw and ink for Marvel. So even back then, it was like about the poses you could hit in the black books with your characters and these themes. And we would copy covers, John Byrne, Claremont, whoever. So it's been in me since then. So when I pose, it takes me back to those times, and it just fills me with like the good times back, in art class and in anatomy class, And so it's been really dope to collect because, like I said, it brings me back to zero, and which I can just really write from that point and really create from that point. So it's been very helpful on that side as well.
No, 100%. One of the questions I did want to ask you was, I've seen some posts where you're like in the gym and you got a figure on the elliptical and, you're like working out and you call it your motivation. Like what has been some other unusual places where you have been like just taking out a figure and posing them and how have people reacted to that, man?
The gym is the illest place. Like something that come in the mail, and I'm on a schedule, so I won't have time to open it up. So I'll literally take the figure to the gym, open it right there on the bike or the elliptical and like pose it. I remember one time this guy was beside me, had on a Marvel shirt. So I kind of, I didn't know him. I was kind of like showing him, and he was kind of like, what? What are you showing me? And I was like, you don't know what's up. But, I'll pose and people will walk by. And I'm just that weird, that weird dude in the gym anyway. So I don't care. And I know it's not crazy to our community, but it's comforting and it is motivational because I'll put Wolverine there or I'll put Psylocke there and I'll just like go extra 20 minutes.
Man, you're not weird. They just don't understand. I took MODOK on my family vacation with me this summer, so I was carrying that thing around with me, and that was a giant figure. So I looked like an idiot. But,
we got to start selling in sporting goods stores at the checkout counter, right? With all your like yoga mats and stuff.
Exactly.
Well,
exactly.
I mean, I know you also, you and 13, you guys have started doing some local concerts and things of that nature. I'm sure you're about to tour. Hopefully when everything starts getting a little bit normal. Like if you had one figure from this year or just even previous years, what figure would you bring on tour with you? And you could only pick one. Just a fun question.
Right now it would have to be the X-Force, my X-Force Wolverine, because, when you're a new band, you're in the van, you're grinding from city to city, and they can get dirty and ugly. And you want someone who could do the dirty work, just put up there and just give you that extra energy to keep pushing through the shows, 15 shows in a row, city to city, and not necessarily 5-star hotels all the time. Wolverine's my guy.
Yeah. I think Ryan loves that Wolverine because of the claws. You know how thick the claws are on that figure. Yeah. That's a great.
That was the
choice,
first time
man.
we did those really thick claws. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a bunch of Wolverines. That's like one of my favorites because of the claws that like get thick towards the end. You know, like the comic book used to be. So yeah, that's my guy, X-Force Wolverine.
All right. Well, I hope you could, stay with us for a little bit. We want to make sure that you're here for what we're going to reveal towards the end of this panel right here. So thank you again just for answering some of my nerdy questions, man. Like, for real, I always see your posts and I'm like, man, Pharaoh is a real one because he's truly passionate. A lot of people, they collect on the low, but you're always just putting stuff out there and showing your love for Marvel Legends. So I'm so honored just to have you here. You know what I mean, man? Thank you.
That's so dope. I watch these. It's an honor for me to be on this. I'm geeking out right now too. So it's really dope.
So I got one question for you real quick. So you talked about Wolverine having your go-to guy. What haven't we made yet that you need to add to your shelf?
It would probably be the Terax. I was hoping for Terax with the Galactus, reveals. So I went back to try to get an old one. It's just too much money, so I was hoping for a new Terax.
All right, fair enough.
So that's a great idea. I mean, if Faramond says create a Terax, I don't know, guys. We might have to put it in the pipeline like ASAP. You know what I mean? But yeah, Ryan, why don't you take us through the special reveals that we got coming up?
Yeah, so Pharaoh, thanks for sticking around with us. I want to get your take on some of these brand new first-time reveals. One of them is X-Men related. We know you're a big X-Men fan. So guys, yeah, first up, we can just jump right into it. This is going to be an upcoming 2022 Spider-Man figure, and it's a character that we have done in MCU form. He's behind me, but this is an all-new comic-based Iron Spider. Dwight, walk him through the render that we're looking at on screen right now.
Yeah, Iron Spider has risen to the top of our list for spider characters that we needed to revisit. I think the last time we did him was back in the very beginning of our line. I don't even know if it was part of our Legends line or if it was that Spider-Man Origins line back in 2007. So it's been, quite a long time since you've seen comic Iron Spider. So we were happy to jump into him. He's 100% new, all shiny, all red, all gold. Double pinless elbows, double pinless knees, lots of great articulation, and a really, really cool addition for those of you who still need to add him to your shelf.
So, Pharaoh, what do you think, man? Iron Spider.
I mean, every post I get excited, it's a W with lots of O's behind it. So all I can say is, woo! That's pretty hot, man. It's pretty hot, yeah.
Are you a big Spider-Man fan with Peter Parker representing Queens as well?
Absolutely, all day. Queens get the money, just coming up. I was so proud that he was, rendered in the Forest Hills type area of Queens, and so yeah, he's number one.
I just want to shout out to my wife who's downstairs right now, but her family is from Queens, so she's from Queens, born and bred, and we still go back there from time to time. So I can play a little nice with you and Dan for the Queens aspect of it. Just wanted to jump in there, get some brownie points at home,
I got nothing to add to that.
So we've got that new Iron Spider 6-inch Legends figure coming out some way in some form in 2022. Is it in a wave? Is it part of another box set, a multi-pack? You'll have to stay tuned to find out. So clearly no pre-order today, guys, for that, but we just wanted to share an exciting new render that Tony and the Model Shop team are putting together. So we have one more item, but I'm going to set it up a little bit. If you were with us during PulseCon, you saw that we had Eric and Julia Leewald from the X-Men animated series on with us, who gave us so many of our awesome childhood memories with that show. And we revealed there our new, we'll call it X-Men VHS inspired line. of figures. You can see that book there is that the Leewalds put out about all behind the making of the show with great art and behind the scenes stories. So go pick that book up on Amazon or wherever you go for that. But yeah, so we revealed these new VHS style figures in really evocative, nostalgic packaging. So we had 2 items that we revealed and put up for pre-order there. First up was Wolverine. Again, Pharaoh's guy. Hopefully he loves this figure as well. So here you can see a shot of the packaging. This is a closed box pack that looks just like the VHS tapes of yesteryear. Super colorful, working with some great artists, Dan Wiesenmayer on that. But let's take a look at the figure. You got the figure here. Pharaoh, did you watch this animated show at all back in the 90s? Or I mean, it's on Disney Plus now, right? So you can go back. But
yeah, absolutely, and the theme song is classic, so everybody knows this one.
One of the best. No words needed. Just that guitar. So we had this Wolverine with 2 heads, the picture frame for all your little meme recreations there. And then also we revealed Jubilee, the second figure in the line in this really hot pink VHS cassette tape with her blasting some what looks like some tentacles there in the danger room. So we can take a look at the Jubilee figure. Both Jubilee and Wolverine. I think they should still be up for pre-order now. If they hadn't sold out already. But yeah, go get them if you have it. This comes with, again, alternate head, some firework effects, and 2 pairs of glasses that work with the alternate head off to the right there. So yeah, so as I said, these are available for pre-order on the Hasbro Pulse. So go get them if you haven't. But because we have such a special guest here, because he's a noted X-Men fan, we wanted to reveal for the first time the 3rd X-Men VHS item. And then is it okay, Pharaoh, if we do a bad guy? Do you like the villains too in the
Let's
X-Men
do it.
verse?
Let's do it. Got to balance. You can't have the heroes without the villains.
Let's take a look. Let's throw them on screen. And Pharaoh, tell us what you enjoy about this character here you're seeing.
Wow. I first saw this guy in the books in X-Men, Mr. Sinister, correct?
That's right.
Yeah. That's crazy. And, the story is only good as the villains are evil. So we need this in our collections. We need this guy, especially if you collect X-Men. So that's awesome.
He's definitely one of the crazy villainous masterminds in the X-Men universe, noted geneticist and all that. Dwight, take him through the deco again. I kind of breezed over it, but these figures have a very special kind of deco, right?
Yeah, we were trying to, bring out that cell shading look of the animation back in the day. So we took a lot of different screen grabs of the show and laid them out next to our figures that we wanted to use as a base and tried to figure out how we can apply some of that shading to him. So typically you see his cape, the inside of his cape being red, but in the animation it had those dark black shadows. So we gave him the blue tone black cape, and then we added these really dark gray kind of shadows to half of his body. He's got a little bit of like a blue highlight in his hair and just some of those cool little extra 2 tones just to kind of give him some extra depth that you normally would have just played on the figure with natural lighting. But, in animation where everything was flat, they had to like apply all that extra depth through highlights and shadows on the cell shading. So that's what we did on Sinister. And we modified this figure from the one you guys may have from the past. We actually took the ribbing off of his neck because in the cartoon, he didn't have that armor going all the way up to his head. So it allowed us to expose a little bit more of that creepy pale skin color going from his head down into his neck to the torso.
Yeah, so all these VHS figures, right, they're up for pre-order now. They'll be released throughout the year of 2022. We hope you love them as much as we do. So there are more to come for the year. Here's a look at the packaging. So before we get into the packaging, I just remembered that the X-Force Wolverine was in that Wendigo wave, right? So that was in 2019, and that was actually where the Mr. Sinister figure was in. They were together with your favorite figure there. So it's been a couple of years, right? That was back in 2019. So if you missed out on Mr. Sinister back then, you can get this updated animated version. So here's again a look at the packaging. You've got him with his mutant genome sequence there, it looks like. And I actually have the box with me too. Where is it? It's right here. Yeah. So it's actually, you'll notice it's a little bit deeper because Mr. Sinister's got that cape. So it's a little deeper, but the height and width dimensions are the exact same, so that when you get Mr. Sinister with your Wolverine and Jubilee, they can be facing off against each other. So you can have the heroes facing one way on your shelf and the villains squaring off the other way. And you see that they're all, each character has its distinct color from purple, pink to blue. So by the time we're done in 2022, you guys are going to have a shelf full of these all lined up side by side. And with that, Mr. Sinister is going to be available for pre-order, starting today on the Hasbro Pulse. So add Sinister to your cart, and then that's 3 down and a couple of more to go for 2022. So that's all we had for the reveals. Any other closing thoughts, guys, as we wrap up this week or so long stretch from PulseCon to 1027 Premium Event?
I just need a nap.
No, Pharaoh, if you got anything to shout out, let the fans know, where they can find you, what the plans are with their team, like anything that you want to, plug, go for it, man.
Absolutely. Pharaoh Monch on all platforms, and Channel 13 on all platforms. And 13 is the name of the band, with the magnificent Marcus Machado on guitar, Darryl Jones on drums. It's a rock-themed project, so it gives a little more aggression to the hip-hop that I'm normally known for. People are calling it one of the albums of the year. And also, we dropped this Kill, Kill, Kill comic book for one of the videos, which has been nominated at Cannes and all these film festivals that we've won so far, and it's still going. And the comic book is based on the animated video short that we did for the album. So that should be up available right now. And yeah, man, I said the album's going great. I'm looking to tour. I'm looking to take my X-Force Wolverine on the road with me, and keep it going.
Yeah, man, I can't tell you again. I was nerding out this whole entire week when I found out that you're going to be joining us. So thank you again, Pharaoh. And don't worry about don't worry about those VHS X-Men figures. I got you covered. Don't worry about it, man.
Thank you, man. It's a blessing. Super excited. This is so dope. It's an honor for me to be on the panel and on the platform because I watch it all the time. And this is really dope. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
All right, so thank you to the fans for tuning in. Thank you to our special guest, Pharaoh. Go check him out on all the platforms, and hopefully we can get some more gym pictures with all the awesome Legends figures there. So thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll catch you next time. Stay tuned to the Hasbro Pulse for all the official and confirmed latest Marvel Legends news and Big 3 shenanigans. We'll catch you next time, everybody. Take care.
Peace.
See you.
Well, what a week. I hope you enjoyed your spudtacular PulseCon week. Sorry, last dad joke, promise. It's been an incredible time. PulseCon events, including the 1027 tour we've just been on. We love doing it. The crew have worked tirelessly to make this happen. And you know what? I reckon we'll do it again. If you're passing 1027, stop by. Take a selfie with Potato Head here. More the merrier. You're always welcome. Now, before we move on, there is something I've got to let you know, and I've got to read it from my trusty clipboard here. It's very important. Select product reveals with pre-orders and back in-stock drops are available exclusively for you, premium members, until 8 p.m. Eastern Time tonight. But before you go, I need to say goodbye. And I want to say goodbye properly. I want to tell you how much I appreciate your time, how much I appreciate your support. I appreciate your feedback. Always, please keep giving us your feedback. It's vital. But most of all, I appreciate the community that you've built, that you've created, that I and the folks at 1027 feel proud to be part of. As we move on, please, 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 be generous. Remember to be generational. Pass on your passion to those following behind you. And no matter what walk of life you're from, whoever you are, please do me one thing. In memory of our dear departed Brian, never stop playing. All right, enough from me. You've got a HasbroPulse.com to get to do your pre-orders. So you can go now. Now skedaddle before I set Keith on you. Get out of here.